Hey guys, welcome to my video. This is going to be the breakdown and everything you need to know last minute about the Overwatch League 2023 season. So, I got some power rankings for you. I got both regions together. I got the two regions that are split. We got pick'ems for the first week of the season. And then over here, I got this page which can show us the team schedules, and then if we need a little bit of help with that. And then I have Liquipedia open. I can click on any of these and look at the players on the team if I ever need a reference on that. So, starting off, Chengdu. I don't think we're going to see them play this year. Just based off the whole NetEase thing. I mean, I think still, if they somehow come halfway through the season, they could probably be better than Vegas, because if that's the case, then I'd probably put them right here. But for now, they will stay right there. And then up next, we got Vegas Eternal at the very bottom. And there's not much to say about this team other than that it's tragic. It's uninspiring. That's how it was last year. I think it's going to be the same way this year, considering they lost to Semido's team in the World Cup qualifiers. And then also they looked pretty bad in the Pro-Am. And then, so I have a tier break. I think they might not even get a win this season, honestly. I think they could get a sneaky win against the Valiant New York, some of these bottom teams. But after the tier break, we got the Los Angeles Valiant. So I actually thought they looked pretty decent, enough where they could be in that tier above Paris, or Vegas, my bad. Probably better off being Paris Eternal. But I think this team could pick up some wins on these bottom teams like New York, London, maybe the Titans Justice. If they play well, gel together better in the season. Or they could fall flat and lose to like Vegas and give Vegas their first loss of the season. Up next we got New York. And if we look at New York's roster, it's Fitz, Shockwave, Psycho, Kellen, Halo Lep, Onion, and Creative. And they have some good players on this team. Fitz, Creative really stand out. You have Shockwave, Psycho, which are also pretty good too. But I think if we look at their schedule, it's going to be rough. I mean, look at it. Their first three matches, they're probably going to go 0-3 at the start of the season. They might be able to beat Valiant, that's like 50-50, and then they probably beat Vegas. They get dominated by the Shock, probably lose to these two teams as well. So, I mean, I don't know if the DPS line plus Creative can carry this team past some of, these other teams above, because I think Spitfire aren't going to be that great either. But I think their teamwork will take them above teams like Excelsior and the Valiant and then Eternal, just that they've been playing together for the last couple of years. And then here I got London. I don't think they're going to be as good as last year. I mean, they were really good last year. Like, really freaking good last year. At least for their expectations. I mean, they might do it again this year, honestly, with the same roster. I just think everybody's gotten stronger. Not that they're just kind of in the same place, which if everybody gets stronger, they get pushed down, everybody else goes up. And so I think like last year, I probably put this team up like mid-table, like around here somewhere. Up next, we got Guangzhou. APAC, I don't feel good about these next four teams up here. I don't feel good about these. I think Guangzhou, maybe with some synergy from last year, could beat some of these Seoul teams and maybe the Dragons. But, if they can put together what they did in the last quarter of the 2022 season, they're probably going to be up here. They're probably going to be better than these three teams. But they just look kind of tragic, and I think there's some players on these next three teams that are quite better than anyone on Guangzhou. And I'm not too high on Piggy other than his Sigma. And that just might be from 2021 where he played on Houston. But I'm not too high on Piggy as being the lone tank, and then because we can just look at Guangzhou, and they have Choice I Want is a freak. They have Faraway 1987, Xerneas, Jimmy, and Piggy. Jimmy's really underrated, and Choice A1's probably the most underrated flex DPS in the league. I think he's really good, but especially when he first joined the league, he's pretty freaking good. But I don't know, cause if you look at the next team, Soul Infernal, their DPS line is still really good. It's still MN3 and Zest from last year and Fixa. And then they have an upgrade on the flex support, which I think could be something. So we have Skewed. And then Mag. I wish Mag was a better player than... Other than his Winston, I'm not... And his Reinhardt's actually really good. But I feel like he's going to really struggle on the off-tanks this year. Unless they pick up an off-tank. I think that's what's really going to have him struggle. Up next we got Shanghai. And Shanghai, if we look at Shanghai, Fleta is the tank of the team. I thought he was starting to fall off last year. I mean, he had some good performances, but he was not the Fleta of 2020 and 2021. You got Viper and Hisu, really good pickups. And then they had DM on support, but he's gone. I don't know what happened with DM, but pretty sure DM was like the guy in 2020 that beat like Ons and the Widow Maker 1v1, even though I think Ons actually threw that because he wanted to get practice in for the grand finals. But I digress. We got Gangnam Jin, Bebe, and Iris. And the team's gonna be fine in a double flex support meta, but Gangnam Jin's main support, I used to really think Gangnam Jin was really good, but now he just, I don't know, he doesn't play well. He just doesn't. I think this DPS line could be actually really good. Viper and Hisu. And then Fleta on the tank could actually like get better throughout the season. So that's why I put them above the Infernal and the Charge. And then we got Soul Dynasty up next, which they got Void coming back from retirement on the tank role. I'm more confident in Void than someone like Mag. I think off-tank players can do better on main tanks than main tank players can do on off-tanks, but I mean, if Super ever came back to the league, I think he'd probably be the best tank in the game. Best solo tank in the game. But we got Void, really good. Diva, Sigma, just incredible. And then we have the double Prophet lineup. So we got this Prophet that's been in the league since the beginning of it. Dude's still crazy good. I don't know if he's still got that dog in him, but I think he does. So we'll just have to see if he's inspired or not, and we'll learn pretty early on in the season whether he wants to win. But I heard that like he wants to play for fun. And then we got Prophet, hit scan player from Contenders coming in this year. He's pretty good from what I've seen very little of him, but he seemed pretty good. I'm excited for this DPS duo. If everybody's like, you know, wanting to win the APAC region this year. Lee Soo-min, Krillin. I mean, this team could be better than these other three bottom teams just based off the DPS line and the tank alone. So hopefully they are. Hopefully they care. Vancouver. I think Vancouver's actually going to be sneakily really good this year. You got Punk, who's been proven to be just very solid on these mid-table teams. Aspire Sugar Free. That's such a good DPS line. And then you have Crimson and Faith, which is like, it's all right. It's not a world-beating team, but I think they could get some sneaky wins. Like, I think they'd beat these four bottom teams, and then they could beat the Justice. They could maybe, catch a win on Boston if they catch Boston lacking. But yeah, I'll try to speed this up a little bit more. We got Washington. I think they were the best team to not qualify, and I think they're actually better than London. When they played, I think they're like Alpha E. Flora looked really good. Ben Best FD God kind of won me over. Terry still a mechanical freak. I think they're the best team to not qualify for the Pro-Am, and I think they would have fared a little bit better than London. I don't think they would have, probably won any matches in that bracket. But up next we got Boston. So Boston, I mean, they're either going to be here or they're going to be like up here or like here. But I don't think there's an in-between. I think Boston either just booms and beats everybody below them because the player quality is just much higher. And then when you get to this level, it's going to be a lot harder. Or they can just go up here with Atlanta and Shock. Originally, I thought they were going to be like up here. But I mean, it's just maybe they go like up here somewhere in here. I'm just going to play it safe and put them here because you never know what's going to happen in Boston. Striker might end up going back to the Shock and then help Shock get like second in the grand finals. We got Toronto, American Tornado. I'm actually not that high on them. I mean, they have some really good players, but I mean, they beat Boston, the Pro-Am, but I think Boston's peak is higher than Toronto's. I don't think Toronto's peak is that high. I just think their synergy will get them through this whole ordeal. But hopefully they do good. Gladiators, they looked pretty good at the Pro-Am, and I think with more practice, they'll get better as Delta improves on his tank hero pool. This Houston Outlaws line is insane. The only thing is that when you got teams like Florida, Atlanta, Shock, they have players who don't require a lot of resources. And Outlaws, I would say their players require a lot more resources in order to win games. And then when you have Shu and Violet, mechanically, probably the best backline you've ever seen in the whole entire league. Maybe with the exception of like Field or Chio. But Shu Violet, they're very carry-oriented players where they just pop off. There's a lot of backline of power in this Houston Outlaws team. If you just look at their roster, man. Pelican happy on the DPS line. Pelican's so good. And then you got Shu, Violet, like I mentioned, and then you have Fearless on the main tank, Gargoyle on the off tank. Gargoyle's probably just a backup if Fearless off tank doesn't work out. But hopefully it does. Because I just love Fearless as a player. And then you got Dallas Fuel. I actually don't think Dallas is better than any of these teams, but I think they're going to be this high up just because how bad the rest of the APAC teams are. And then I think Dallas will beat the contenders teams that come in and play with the Eastern region. So I just don't think Dallas is actually better than, if Dallas is an NA, I'd put them like probably here. Maybe even here. But since they're in APAC and there's only one other team I believe is probably better than them, it's such a weaker region in APAC. Mostly because of the net use thing and all the good Korean players and whatnot come over to NA and play here. But up next we got Hangzhou. Just look at this DPS line, man. Shy leave. That's the DPS line that we wanted last year that we didn't get, unfortunately. But now we got it. They have Gu Shui, the Primal Blade. 20, Elsa is who he formerly was. He was actually really good. And then Langston Monk is really good. So I think this team is going to be the best in APAC. I think they're going to be better than Dallas Fuel. I think they just bring a lot more punching power. Dallas could win against the Spark just based off coordination low, and like, you know, put Hanbin on Zar if it's like a Zarya meta, Junker Queen meta, anything like that. Hanbin's just gonna pound, man. It's gonna be great. But I think Spark just bring too much punching power to the APAC region. Up next is Florida. I might be overrating them because of APAC or the Pro-Am, but they did so good in the Pro-Am. And it really just kind of emphasized everything I thought Florida was going to be, with someone leveling up, the upgrade on Merit on hit scan, Charong upgrading the backline over Anamo. It's just everything I wanted Florida to be to make me think that they're probably a top 3 team in the league. I mean, I think their coordination would take them above Hangzhou, and they had the firepower name-wise on the roster. And then tier break, and I think Atlanta and Shock are just going to be far better than anybody in the league this year. If everything clicks the way we think it is going to. Atlanta, they have lip. Like, do I need to say more? They have lip. They have lip, Chio, and Fielder. And Stalker and Hawk are really great as well. You got Dong Hack. His ball's really good. And then Stalker. Dude is insane. If you ever see this guy play Tracer, like this team is insane. And then number 1, I got the San Francisco Shock. This might be a little biased. I was actually thinking of putting Atlanta above the Shock, but Proper Proper is the best player that's ever touched this game. You look at like players back in the day that were really good. You got, you know, like Prophet, Sinatra, you know, players like that, or you just think they're the best at the time, but you don't think that they're gonna be better than everyone for, you know, the longest. You know there's gonna be players that are gonna come up and surpass them, and that's what guys like Proper and Lip have done. I mean, everything about the Shock right here is that Proper just has a better team around him than last year's team, and last year's team was already really good. Got second. They got second in the grand finals. Like, I mean, what the better tank lineup? I think if Junbin and Max were there, or if Super doesn't retire, I think they could actually win the finals. Even though Mikey and Kalush played really well, I think Max and Junbin are just better. And then the O2 Blast synergies there, we didn't get to see their full potential in the Pro-Am, just because they're still in Korea. They didn't get their visas, and they're playing on 200 ping. They're playing at 5 a.m. in the morning. They're living with their families. They want to wake their families up, so they could have missed comms possibly. It just was a mess. But they played really well when they swapped Heesang and realized they just want Proper on the Tracer. It might change in the season where Heesang can kind of just be himself and he can actually play Tracer well, where they don't need Proper on Tracer. But I think you stick with the game plan like last year. If the carry heroes, you know, if you gotta have someone on the carry hero, just play Proper, and then have Heesang field, whatever. But if it's like Cassidy Tracer, actually Heesang could probably still play it. Honestly, I think Heesang's just, you know, baby Proper. It's like, it's such a good team. But here's one last look at this tier list right here, and then here's the regional one if you want to see it by region. Here it is right here. Shock, Atlanta tier break, Florida, Houston, Gladiators, Toronto, Boston tier break, Washington, Vancouver, London, New York, Los Angeles tier break, Vegas, Hangzhou, Dallas tier break, Dynasty, Dragons, Infernal, Charge, tier break, Chengdu, because Chengdu is probably not going to play this year. So up next we go to the pick'ems. I have in the West, Atlanta Reign and Florida Mayhem. I think Atlanta Reign might actually do better than the Shock at the beginning of this year. And from what my understanding is that the meta is probably going to be Winston, Tracer, Sombra going into this, and Lip Sombra is just really fucking insane. So hopefully this Atlanta Reign team won't let me down, and hopefully Florida picks up where they left off at the Pro-Am, because I think Florida's probably just gonna bully their way through, and I think I want to look at Florida's schedule real quick and see how they're gonna fare. 2-0, 50-50. Florida probably wins that. Stomp, 50-50. Florida, probably 50-50. They might lose. I don't know. So, like, you're probably expecting, like, Florida to go, like, 8-2, maybe. In this, at, like, worst. Maybe, like, 7-3 at worst. So, I think Florida's gonna make it there. I mean, I'm sure if you pick Shock and then Rain or Florida, pair them up with Shock, you'd still probably be looking really good for your Crystal Ball picks. Beal and Spark, they're just simply the best two teams, like, far and away. But up next, I actually put my fires, my bonus points on these, so I'm actually gonna do this real quick. So Shock Defiant, I'm gonna go a close 3-1. Not close and not... Actually, I'm gonna go 3-2 in favor of Shock. I think Toronto's really gonna want this win. But I think Shock's just gonna overpower them. Doing proper things. I could see it being like a close 3-0 or a close 3-1 in favor of Shock still. Toronto could upset this team though. Just because it's early. Shock only traveled a week earlier. They've only been practicing probably for a week now. If you can actually see fan predictions, and it's mostly in favor of Shock. Actually, I'm gonna stick with 3-1. I think it's gonna be close to 3-1. Justice, I'm gonna do 3-2 in favor of Justice. And then Florida wins 3-0. It's not because Vancouver's bad, it's just Florida's really good. Gladiators versus Outlaws. This is going to be a top 3 game this weekend. Gladiators beat the Outlaws 3-2, but I don't know. I think I'm going to go 3-2, but in favor of Houston this time. And I'm just more confident in Houston with Happy on Sombra and Pelican on the Tracer. And then I think it's just that I'm not a fan of it slipped my mind. Who's pairing with Kevster? Oh, you could have Yaki on it, yeah. You could have Yaki on Tracer or Kevster on Sombra, either or. But the Winston matchup, I just prefer Velas over Dante, and that just really kind of seals it. Titans 3-1 Valiant. Yeah. Justice 3-0 Eternal. Outlaws probably 3-0 Valiant. Boston, I think Boston isn't going to get boomed by a team like New York. I mean, New York might win control. I'll give it to them. Token match. Shock slightly ever so favored. I'm actually gonna go 3-2 in favor of Atlanta. I think it's gonna be like last map. It's gonna be control round 3. Lip just has the MP and they just win. I just think it's just so close that it's just gonna come down to something like that. Like Stalker gets a pulse bomb on, Finn or something. I don't know, but it's just I just feel like Atlanta's just gonna have one play that just clutches up the win for Atlanta. 3-0 Mayhem over Eternal, double points, and then I'm gonna go 3-1 in favor of Boston. I think London might win control over Boston. And then the last match of the weekend for the West, is Gladiators versus the Defiant, and I'm actually gonna go 3-1 in favor of Gladiators. 3-2. I'm gonna go 3-2. And then we'll head over to the Eastern region. I think it's gonna be 3-1 for the Dynasty. Actually, 3-2. Because Mag's gonna be on Winston. They might do like Doom with Void instead of Winston. I don't know. I'm not high on Eternal. Or Infernal. Guangzhou versus Dallas. I'm gonna go 3-1. I don't think the Charge is gonna get more than one map on Dallas if it's Winston, because I think Hodman's Winston is decent, and I don't think Piggy has what it takes for Winston to be good. Spark, Gushui, Leave, Shy. It's just how it is. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go 3-0 for Hangzhou, and then gonna save all the predictions, and hopefully, it works out. And thanks for watching my video. If you stuck around, I know it's a little bit longer. It's a little bit longer than I was planning on having it, but I just wanted everybody to kind of get a chance to absorb as much information as I could possibly help with without making the video like, you know, an hour and a half by ranking these already. I mean, I did it before, so that way you guys didn't have to sit here and have me ponder on why I picked each team before. I just already have the reasoning ready. But yeah, hopefully Shock beat Atlanta. So it's always winnable when you have proper on your team. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the first weekend of the Overwatch League 2023 season. Peace out.